This is episode 113 of the Double Cross Anime podcast. I'm Mario, and here's Whooper.
Oh, right. Hello, Mario.
Oh, I got it backwards again. I'm autopiloting because we have 10 different shows to talk about today, as it is our fall 2020 season preview. So I guess my mind was a little caught up in all of that. I'm Whooper, and joining me is Mario, and we've got 10 shows lined up. We're going to go through them in alphabetical order. Rank them 1 to 10, 1 being the best, as in the top of the list, 10 being the worst, as in the bottom. And we'll see how we're feeling about this season.
All right, just a little overview first, because you and I have watched like all the shows that we wanted to watch. I mean the first episodes of all of them. How do you think of the season so far? Is it looking good? Is that looking pale for you?
Well, you know my philosophy. That's if there are like 3 good shows that I want to follow week to week, then I view it as a success. Having seen the hundreds and hundreds of series and films, et cetera, that I've seen, and being an old, grumpy, and jaded 30-year-old boomer, if there's just a few things that grab my interest, it's good for me. So that being said, this season is like almost all the way to being good. It's like really close.
Almost, so like 2.5 shows.
Pretty much, yes.
Right.
Well put. How about you?
All right. I'm usually looking for like under the radar shows. So like on top of the good show, I want to have like a lot of like potentially good shows, and I think this season has been quite generous on that as well.
Okay.
So far so good as well.
All right. Excellent. Yeah, a lot of people I think are in kind of a doomsday mentality, maybe. I don't know what better way there is to put that, but with the COVID summer 2020 season being super thin, I think people are like in panic mode or are just starting to leave it. So that mindset kind of transferred over to the fall, and they were like, "Oh man, this fall looks like crap. There's literally nothing." And I mean, we're not talking about spring 2011 or whatever, one of the great all-time anime seasons. Obviously we're not on that level, but it's fine.
Yeah, well, I think a lot of the mentality of like the veteran anime is like the old days are way better,
That's me.
All right, so I'm stopped here. I see a lot of this these seasons have a lot of that undercurrents. Like something that looking from the background. So I think it might be speak something to the COVID as well, and then there's a lot of a bonkers so just like playing crazy. And
I don't know about COVID influencing any of these shows. I mean, anime studios are booked up. They have projects like lined up for years in advance.
That's true. Yeah.
It's not as though there's pre-production. They don't just start animating it with 2 or 3 months before the air date. So I don't think there's there's any of that.
All right. Should we start to the first one?
Yeah, I guess so. As I said, we're going through an alphabetical order, which means that the first one is Adachi to Shimamura.
That's the show that I pick for our watching. And how do you feel about that? The shows.
How did I feel about it?
Yeah.
I feel as though this show is exactly what Daily Lives of High School Boys was mocking with its literature girl segment, where the girl sits on the riverbank,
right,
and like kind of pretentiously speaks into the air about nothing in particular.
Yep.
That's what this show is.
All right. So a little bit pretentious, but not as funny.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah. So it's not funny, and it has pretty much nothing to say. That's my opinion on it.
All right, interesting. Because I was quite surprised when I watched the first episodes of Adachi towards Shimamura. It's slow burn. I expect it to be more like bombastic. It minimalist as well. So it just focus on the two main characters in a space where there are only like two of them, and they have like two some more supporting characters, but they are not that present.
Yeah, it's
At least
and
so
I mean
far.
they seem to be obstacles for the developing relationship between the two main characters, at least at this point.
Yeah, that's right. And I found that like the way that they spend time together are pretty much like genuine. Like they really enjoying spend time to each other, and there's a air of like something special between them. So I think like this premiere work for me.
Right. How did you feel about the
Narrations.
one of the last scenes of the episode where I don't remember exactly what happens, but Shimamura sees Adachi do or say something, which she's really surprised and enchanted by, and her eyes do the little anime sparkle where the reflection of the light kind of moves in a 360-degree pattern around the outside of her eyes, and then she sticks out her arms like a plane and goes, "Vroom! Your words have uplifted me like a plane." How'd you feel about that?
I don't even recall that scenes, to be honest.
Well, it happened.
All right. Let's just say that I found the reaction or the action from the two main characters believable. Like they confusing as well, and they act like kids their age. So like with all these, all these stupid things like make no sense thing that you just mentioned, I think it fit to their characters.
I guess. I mean, they're definitely a couple of quirky, like oddball sort of characters.
Yeah, they try to act
Especially
like
Shimamura.
delinquents, but they're not, and we all know that.
Right. Yeah. The fact that they label themselves delinquents, or perhaps that Shimamura labels them delinquents,
Yeah.
when Adachi is really just reserved and kind of shy, and sort of a normal character. And Shimamura is like imagining herself falling into the ocean, and then talking about how relationships are like so difficult and so profound as she's like
And
falling through the water. I
yeah,
don't That was the moment where I thought of the Daily Lives of High School Boys comparison. Was when that was happening. I was like, man, there's not enough between you and whoever this other girl is for you to be talking about
so
like
yeah,
a parallel between human relationships and the currents of the ocean. Like, no
so
thanks.
this by that you mean that this is the show that that segment from Daily Love of High School Boy make fun of.
Yes, well, yes. I mean, obviously, Daily Lives of High School Boys came first. It was not predicting the production of this series 9 years after the fact.
Yep.
But this is the type of show that Daily Lives of High School Boys was skewering with that segment.
Right. I happen to found that Shimamura girl, her character design look like some characters in Q&As. I'm thinking
You're
of
comparing.
I'm
Oh
thinking
man,
of the a character in Keon,
who?
the rich girl. I don't remember her
Oh,
name.
you think that Shimamura looks like
Yeah,
Mugi?
Boogie. Yeah, that's her. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, as a fan of K-On, I I would beg to differ. They just both have long blonde hair. Like,
Big
I don't see
eyes.
it. I mean, that's anime. Anime characters have big eyes. I mean, on the contrary, though, for real, I would say that the K-On characters, their designs are built to move, whereas the Adachi to Shimamura characters are they're built for stills.
For static. Right.
Yes, like their hair is far more detailed. Their eyes are like have four colors all blended together, and the pupil in the middle is like not a solid color. They don't move like the K-On characters, and they're not designed to.
All right.
So I don't see a lot of similarities there. I thought you were going to
Yeah. So
for a
how?
second I thought you were going to compare Adachi to the Chunibyo girl with the short blue hair with the one little piece that sticks up.
Right, right. I don't
Only she
see
doesn't have an eye
the
patch.
I don't see the resemblance though. But well, but that my stand my point to stand that this character look like a characters from drawn by Q&E.
I don't think they do at all.
Right.
They don't, in fact.
How do you how do you feel? How do you like about their narrations?
Yeah, I mean the narration is the worst part. That's what makes it.
Right.
That's what makes it pretentious.
Yeah. Well, I like it.
I just don't.
So
I
I
just
think
don't like it.
that's where we differ then.
Well, we differ everywhere where the show's concerned,
Well,
but that's okay.
yeah. Well, how about the act style?
I will say that based on the PV, I thought the show was going to be a train wreck. Like I thought it was not going to animate well at all, and I
Yep.
don't think it animated. Like I think the animation was below average,
Mhm.
but the general look of the show and the art exceeded my expectations.
Yep. I remember very fondly like the moment where Adachi riding a bike with Shimamura standing in the back. I think
Yes,
that
that
looked
show
really
that was kind of
nice.
like a medium shot, and it was
Yep.
they were kind of in shadow because the sun was setting a little bit.
Yep. That's right.
Yeah,
Uh,
that was
uh, uh,
also my favorite shot of the episode.
Yeah. Even like the ones where they are playing ping pong, and there's many shot of like they are on together in the on the same screen. I thought this looked really nice. Even the whole ping pong scenes look really nice.
Well, all the ping pong scenes were always well. I mean, I can't
Not
say
the
I agree.
animation. Yeah, not the
Yeah,
animation,
yeah.
but the look of it, the feel of the of the scene in general. I think it looked really nice.
All of the ping pong scenes were quickly followed by scenes of the girls sitting with their backs up against the wall and their skirts just barely covering their panties. So
All right, I don't
I
think there's
I
a
can't
lot
say I
of.
was a fan of
All right,
all
I
of
don't
that.
think there's a lot of like pandering here in these shows.
But let me go ahead and send you
Just,
6 screenshots that I took precisely for this conversation, which I knew would arise.
all right. It just my mind get used to with all these like leering and pandering that I don't even like take notice that much.
Oh, I did. I got you covered.
All right.
There's 1, 2.
I still
I'll edit these in.
yeah I still
the-
haven't received anything.
Yeah, it might take a while. And in fact, I don't even know if this is a very good idea because it might slow down our connection or something. But there you go. They might show up for you eventually. I mean, this is not an ecchi series,
Yeah.
that's for sure. But there was there were boob grabs,
Yeah.
girls fanning their already short skirts because they're sweaty, lots of thighs and quads and long legs and
Yep.
So obviously, we're on the very opposite sides
Yeah.
of the fence
I
on this one.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Like, it actually exceeded my expectation. I didn't expect it to be that slow burn, but there's a lot of confusing as well from the characters. Like in terms of they don't know how they feel. They have like that particular look at the world. But so far, I enjoy the two characters and I enjoy their time together. So I'm gonna be watching it.
All right. Where did you rank it? 1 being the best, 10 being the worst.
4 out of 10.
4th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Number 8 for me.
Wow. I think we're gonna have the same number one, just and the same number 10. But let's see.
I'm actually gonna go ahead and say that I think almost every one of our series will be on opposite sides of the 5-6 median.
All right. What do you mean by
So,
that?
for example, if I do something number 3, making it in the top 5, you're gonna have it in the bottom 5. That's gonna be my prediction here.
Yeah, that might be true.
We're 1 for 1 so far on that.
Yep. But my points still stand for the number one and number 10. Let's see.
Okay. Well, we're about to check that
Yeah.
with the next series.
Oh, Akudama Drive.
Yes.
It's a bonkers.
Yes. It is. It's insane.
Yeah, well, I didn't really expect again that to be that wild, but like
Neither did I.
yeah, well, but it's just so much fun watching it.
Yeah, I had a blast as well. I mean, I think there probably are people who predicted it to be like this because it's from the maker of Danganronpa,
Yeah, I
which is a
absolutely have
very
no
dark
feeling about
and,
ourselves.
well, it's not. It's rather than a show, it's a video game,
Yep.
and I haven't played them,
Mm-hmm.
but I am kind of interested in them now, just because the creator of Danganronpa, created the scenario for
Uh-huh.
Akudama Drive.
Yeah.
You would say. So just the edge and the violence, the brutality, the general darkness, the
And
contrasting colors,
yeah,
the yelling, the laser beams, everything about it, I thought was pretty fun.
and it just so so ironic that like if you put all of these like separately, if I look at on these like single elements, there's a lot of things that not usually in my wheelhouse, like the character design. I'm not really sure that I like the character design. For all these characters, I'm not really sure if I like them, like individually. Like the Prowler, remember him
The guy who destroys all the robots.
yeah,
Right.
he's like one of the worst, like type of characters that I usually see in shonen. It's a kind of like no brainer who like have exceptional strength. I don't even find the main girl to be that investing. If like put in another show, I would call her very boring. But like in this show, in this particular episode, just everything work.
Yeah, I mean the show's not about the character. It's about how many people they can murder in the span of 20 minutes.
Or robot.
Yes, or how many robots they can destroy. Yeah, but I mean we just finished reading Pluto, and destroying a robot may as well be murder, right?
Yeah, that's true. Robots is more have as much emotion as human.
That's right. The warmth.
Um, before we talking about this show, have you seen Kingsman, the movies?
Have I seen what?
Kingsman.
Oh yes, the comic book adaptation
Yeah.
with Colin Farrell.
Colin Farrell. I don't think so. Colin Firth.
Oh yes, my bad. Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
about like
so-
the
so
secret
it's-
organization in
Yeah, that's right.
Britain.
That's the one. That's like the point of reference that I see from like in regard to these shows.
Okay.
And then
That's interesting.
I have so much fun with Kingsman as well. If I think if you watch like the movies already, you will remember like there's like a sequence I think in the end of the first movie where like on the head explode.
Where people's heads explode.
It yeah. So it just like
Is this
like
at that
the,
party, that like cocktail party or something?
yeah, that's right.
Okay, I vaguely remember that.
Yeah.
I'm not the sort of person who remembers a lot of details about
Mhm.
like movies or TV shows.
All right, I just received on your screenshot.
Yeah.
It looked fine to me. Okay, move on.
All right. Well, I'm glad you're into this sort of thing.
I don't mind them.
All right. I kind of mind. I mean, I'm not the sort of like there are people who watch anime and complain about fan service every time it pops up on screen.
Mhm.
Like I don't know if they just don't understand that it's part of anime.
Yeah, that's true.
It's like anime is countercultural, and Japanese society is fairly repressed.
It
So
it is something you have to roll with it. Even I remember like looking at the poster of like some of the magazine from Japan, and they have like a picture of like I would assume an underage idol girls with like a very low position, and and it I feel like it's just like a normal practice there in Japan, like wearing bikini and having them taking like on this position. It it's just not something that that I
it's more acceptable there, I suppose, or
that's true.
it's a common practice or more common. But at the same
Yeah.
time, I don't know. I think there's a psychological impact on the people involved in that industry, and especially on the young girls who are kind of swept up in it.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
that Japan, is not really willing to acknowledge or address. But
That's right.
anyway,
Yep. Back to the show.
how did you feel about the main dude in Akudama Drive having a motorcycle that has the Attack on Titan maneuvering gear wires that he shoots into buildings like Spider-Man and
He
flies around on his motorcycle?
he basically just fried everything with his motorcycle, and in
It
fact,
shoots laser
it,
beams.
it, it's fucking ridiculous, but it's cool at the
I
same time.
know. I know.
No,
How
right, all
is it
right.
so
I don't
cool?
even. I don't even make head or tails like the moment he got trapped into like these the falling world. Remember at the end, I don't even like understand. Could he just like got out of his motorcycle and he be safe?
I don't even remember what you're talking about.
All right.
Falling World.
The scene where he got stuck and he got nearly killed by I think the robot, and then the main girl just come save him. I think she yelling so that she get the attention from the robot.
I remember the robot. It's like a giant eyeball with a bunch of tentacle
Yeah.
robot legs.
And remember he got stuck. Like
I just straight up don't
um
remember that. But
all
yeah,
right.
I guess he could have gotten off his motorcycle and just walked away.
Yeah, he didn't do that. He stand by his motorcycle. I think that's safe or
Well, I
something.
mean, given how powerful his motorcycle is, it's probably worth more than his life. Like if you were to try to put a monetary value on it, you couldn't even do that. It's like it's
Yeah.
God's motorcycle, and he's just borrowing it.
All right. How about Doctor? Like
The woman.
on the woman. Like
Yes.
I don't even know like when one of the guy having the head seizure, she saved him, right? And then like
Yeah.
in the process she killed everyone else.
Yes.
All right. So that was what happened.
Yeah. I mean, as she was doing
All
the
right.
surgery, I suppose she was just going really wild with the scalpel. And she was obviously like turned on by the fact that she had so much power over one person's life.
All right.
And in the midst of her lust, I suppose that she lost her sense of consciousness,
Yeah.
and everybody just ended up dead around her. Like it doesn't make any sense, but when the camera pulls back and you see everyone's dead, you just kind of have to smile at how crazy it is.
Yeah, true. And I just love the way they introduce the characters, like in manga forms. Uh,
Right.
look really
With the
stylish.
comic book panel looking
Yeah,
things.
and then they name
And the scene transitions
and then
with the
they
buildings like sliding into frame.
yeah, that's right. And then their names and their years.
The years? Oh, how old they are?
No. They serve like how many years that they
Yes,
serve
their
each other.
sentence.
Sentence. Yeah,
Right.
it's just so
Yeah.
so pretty
Anime
cool.
loves to do title cards like that.
Yep.
Or like character intro cards.
Yep. And
Um,
no, I think it's funny because when we got to the hoodlums, like the petty guys, he got
Right.
just like 3 years in prison. Like it's just so pale compared to other characters. That is so fun. I just laugh at it.
yeah, that was pretty clever.
Yep. So
Well, what'd you rate it?
yeah, so a lot of like unexpected things in the first episodes, and I do reckon it will fall. It will like breaking apart later on. I don't think it's gonna stay this insane and interesting for the rest of its run. But how do you think?
I think it's going to stay insane. I don't think it's going to stay as interesting. I don't think it's going to look as good.
Right.
That's my
Well,
guess.
it's from Studio Period, so
Well, I mean, they could have a really good director or a really good staff working on it. I mean, obviously, the staff that did this first episode put a lot of time into it.
yep.
So depending on when production started, it could hold together for like 12 episodes, however long it is.
Right. All right.
I don't know. I'm definitely going to follow it and find out.
Yep. So I put it at first.
So did I.
All right. So so you got the same first.
Yes. That's happened a few times before.
Yep.
With a show like Akudama Drive, you really can't help it. It's just too weird.
Right. But too attractive to
Yeah.
look away.
Yeah, pretty much. It's like a car wreck.
Yep. All right. The next one gonna be Dragon Quest.
Yes. So this is a reboot of the. It was either 1989 or 1990.
Yeah. Either.
Dai no Daibouken, the Dragon Quest
Yep.
adaptation of like a Shonen Jump manga.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently this one's going to be really long, and it's going to have an ending because the first one did not. You know, that used to be like really common for anime, is that they didn't follow the manga exactly.
All right. Do you reckon that it's gonna have an ending?
Yeah, because the manga's concluded now. It hadn't at the time that the original one
All right.
was running, I think.
Yep. All right.
Yeah, so it's long. It's going to be long. And will it be worth following? I don't know.
All right. Yep. I have read the manga before, like when I was growing up.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that.
Yeah, I mentioned that. I didn't really remember the beginning though, so like everything here is fresh. I still remember all these characters, but not the situation they are in. So
Apparently the beginning is different in this version.
all right, maybe that's why I felt like everything so new. Saying that, I would say like the first episode, this one that I feel it just is very generic. It's like a typical shonen jump a typical shonen jump beginning, you know. We have like a typical main characters and the setting, and everything is typical to me.
What's typical about a boy living on a deserted island with a bunch of monster friends?
Well,
What other series has that set up?
all right. Hunter x Hunter have like some sort of the same, like Ron. He's living in the island, right?
It's not deserted, and he doesn't have a bunch of monster companions.
I don't know desert. I don't know what you mean by deserted, because I still feel like all these characters can just come. Other characters can just come to this island and like wreaking havoc.
Yes,
easily,
they can come there, but Dai is the only human being living there.
All right. That's not going to change my opinion of it.
That's fine. You don't have to like the series.
Yep.
But until you can name one other series for me that has this setup, you can't call it generic.
All right. I think even Dragon Ball, like at the start, where is Goku living? In
I don't
some
know. I don't
deserted
remember.
things, right?
I have no idea. I mean, he encounters
well.
Bulma really quickly, so there's obviously other human life. But I can't remember exactly the setup
Yeah.
for Dragon Ball.
And this episode is just from Dai. Now, later on we will get like the rest of the team coming soon as well. I think the princess is already on board.
Yes, I loved her character design.
Right. Yep.
In fact,
Cool.
I mean, I really like Akira Toriyama's designs. I think they look cool.
All right.
They're very expressive, very clean looking.
Yep.
So I liked, the villains are like obviously villainous. The heroes are very, wide-eyed and peppy and usually have smiles on their faces. It's very clear, who's good, who's bad, what the story is going to be. But clarity does not equal like sameness.
Right. All right.
And this is an adaptation of an anime, or rather a reboot of an anime that is 30 years old, and an adaptation of a manga that's even older than that.
Yep.
So you have to take that into account, because
based from
it may
the video
feel
games.
familiar to you, but
Yeah.
that's because this thing preceded almost everything that you
Yep.
feel it's similar to.
Yeah, that is right. I think the only like shonen that is older than this is like Dragon Ball.
Well, probably Fist of the North Star.
Oh yeah, this stuff. Yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is pretty damn old as well. I don't know how old that is exactly.
I think from the 1990s.
Oh, definitely not. Yeah, it's an 80s series. In Jump,
80s.
it was in Shonen Jump.
Wow, all right.
I just don't know the exact year.
Yeah,
I think the manga for Dino Daibouken came, I want to say 83. Could be closer to the mid 80s. I don't know.
all right. How you feel about the CG?
It was ugly as hell.
All right.
There was one scene where they used CG for just like one character. When they were fighting on the boat, like there was a little tiger who was in CG. But in general, the CG was reserved for scenes where it was like 20 plus monsters on screen at the same time.
Yeah, that's true.
However, the fact that they've created these CG models tells me that they're going to be using them throughout. They wouldn't just make all these CG models and then only use them in the first few episodes. Like they're going to reuse them as Dai summons his monster companions in battle throughout the whole thing.
Yep.
So that's unfortunate. But the animation is actually quite good, like the 2D animation. Whether it's a character running, especially whether it's a character fighting, like swinging a sword or throwing a punch, a lot of drawings went into this thing, and there's a lot of solidity to them as well. Like the line work is very thick. I guess the framing of the combat makes it feel like tense and exciting. At least it did to me. But the CG is just it's bad.
Yeah. Well, it's noticeable, and I would say like with the show that will run in like 100 or 200 episodes like this, like establish the CG like first like this is a natural move. Like I would think that if it keep up with this level of CG, I will be happy.
Okay. I would have expected you to like hate it super hard.
No.
All right. Well, I'm probably more down on it than you, from the sounds of things.
Yeah. I feel like it's done its job. So good enough.
Okay. Well, it's got a lot more job to do. If this thing is going to be triple-digit episode length.
Yeah. It's gonna be. There's a lot of long acts come from this.
Yeah. Well, you know more about what it's going to do than I do.
Yeah.
You've read the manga.
Yeah. All right. So how
despite
how
not
do you
knowing
rate
that
it?
much about it, though, I'm excited for it. So I ranked it number 2.
Oh, really? Wow. So that's where we differ again. I rank it number 9.
Okay.
All right. The next one gonna be Higurashi when they cry. Whoa.
Right.
Or Higurashi no Naku Koro Niku. Whoa.
Yeah, the Higurashi reboot. Or is it? Dun dun dun.
I have no idea because I haven't watched the original. You have watched the original, right?
I have not finished it, but I've seen it. And this first episode followed the beats of the original mostly.
Yep.
However, there was a difference,
Right.
which kind of foreshadowed the twist, which happens in episode 2, which I won't say anything about.
I haven't watched episode 2.
Okay, well, I don't even, depending on how you feel about it and what you ranked it, I don't even know if you intend to, but either way, I won't say anything.
Well, I'm intending to. Okay, cool.
Okay. This episode follows what happens in the the premiere of the 2006, I think, adaptation,
Yeah.
pretty faithfully. So I assume that it also follows the virtual novel or whatever kind of game or novel it is very carefully.
Hold on. So
That being
is
said,
that sorry? Is that follow the continuing of the original, or is that like follow the same beat at the
that's
original?
in terms of the first episode.
Uh-huh.
Yes, in terms of the first episode, it's very similar.
All right. All right. All right. All right.
In terms of the continuity, that's what I can't really answer.
Mm-hmm.
You have to watch the second episode for that and gain some context about the original series.
All right.
So all that
Understood.
aside, though, how did you feel about episode 1 of the 2020 Higurashi?
All right, because we all know we all know that this gonna go horribly wrong. So I
Yeah,
think
I
that's
mean, the first scene establishes that. There's
yeah, that's right.
murder with a... What is he holding again? I can't remember. Is it a baseball bat?
Something. I saw a
Yeah.
lot of weapon in this first episodes. So I think that the moe design is for a reason for that effect. Um, I I I understand why they have to do with all these like really slave life. This is all just like the setting up, and so when we already know that something will go wrong, we will take notice of like the strengthening in term of like their conversations. There's a lot of conversation that seem like innocent at first, but I think gonna be more relevant and more twisted in the future. Like the fact that the high school the like his best friends saying that to the main character that he gonna wait for her no matter what, or something along that line.
Oh, I just thought that was stupid virtual novel bullshit.
I was
I'm not going to wait for you. I would just abandon you. Wait, no. Just kidding. I would wait for you forever.
yeah.
Arigatou gozaimasu.
I think that's gonna be relevant, more relevant in the future. With this kind of dialogue, they usually mean something, more twisted.
That would be great because most of it just reads like drivel.
And in insert to this, like slice of life, like really uplifting things. There's like some moment where the character just like going extremely what's the word for it, eerie. Like when two of the characters like deny there's something happened in the where was it, the pile of junk things.
Yeah.
So it had the creep effect to me as well. So the ending is kind of weak for me though, with the girl holding that slider.
How is that
but-
weak? It looks like she's planning to murder him.
Yeah, but we know for sure that it's not gonna happen.
Do you?
He's the main characters. All right. I will wait until episode 2 to look to see what's gonna happen. But I don't think that the main character is gonna die out of this.
I mean, you see him beating up one of the main, like killing and
Yeah, I don't
brutally
remember
murdering
him.
one of the main characters in the first scene of the first episode.
I don't even remember if we're supposed to know which girl that he murdering.
You are.
All
You've
right.
seen her already.
All right.
She's in the first episode multiple times.
But yeah, I think I will watch it just for the the shock values, I think.
Okay, well, then you may need to watch the original if you're going to watch this one.
All right.
Just as a heads up.
Just one thing is that I'm not sure if the show will go beyond being a shock values.
Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't continue with the original Higurashi. So I can't answer your question. I was too bored
All right.
The whole premise of the show is what if cute girls, but also scary girls.
Yeah.
That I didn't get anything from it beyond that in my initial viewing. So
All right.
same with this episode.
Yep. How do you feel?
I feel bored just talking about it.
All right. Do you feel like the creep of like something wrong behind the facade of normality and like girl flirting with boys on this?
I mean, obviously there's something wrong. The show tries very, very hard.
All right. Yep.
It basically holds your neck and then forces your head down into the toilet bowl of scariness and says, "Aren't you scared? I'm not going to let you come back up until you say you're scared."
All right. Is that how you feel?
That's how Higurashi treats its audience. Yes.
All right. Interesting. Yeah, that's
You know how the guy who created the original VN, what he did to his expressly stated strategy for how he wrote it was he played a bunch of key visual novels
Right.
and then decided instead of making I'm going to do everything that they did, but instead of going for emotion, I'm going to go for horror.
yeah, all right.
That was his methodology.
All right, I can see
And it
see that.
shows.
And so that my issues are that remains. Will it be something more than a shock value? It
Well, given his his strategy when designing the story,
I
probably not.
Well, I do think it's meant to be a deconstruction of like Kyuga and Key's character to be more exact. But usually
I
I
wouldn't
found that
say deconstruction. I would
have
say
to be
appropriation.
what did you say?
I wouldn't say deconstruction. I would say appropriation.
Appropriation.
He's
Yeah,
just
what do you
borrowing
mean
it
by
and
that?
twisting it. He
Right,
hasn't
right,
taken
right.
anything apart.
Yep. Huh. That makes more sense, and that is why that it might be like something it have to have something to say. So
It
if it doesn't have
What
any,
does it have to say? What do you
well,
think the main takeaway for after you get to the end of the series? What do you think your takeaway will be?
Q girls can be brutal as well, can be a psychopath.
I would say
That
that is a safe a safe bet. Yeah.
right. Yeah. So I'm still interested to see what's gonna happen, and like you said, maybe I will check the original as well to have like more level of appreciation for this one. I just don't know if
Yeah,
it worked it out.
you might need it to understand this one actually,
Huh.
because it's not all as it seems with this show.
That sounds kind of interesting actually. You know what? I'm gonna try the second episode first, and then I will watch back the original.
All right. What
All right.
number did you give it?
8 out of 10.
What?
What?
You're just talking about the fact that you're so interested in it. You put it 8th?
Yeah.
The hell? I put it
more,
7.
more so that I have like 7 more, so that I am more interested than this one. Okay.
Damn. All right. Well, I'm happy for you, man. You got all this stuff that you want to see. It's great. I got
All right.
nothing compared to you based on what we just found out.
All right. Well, it still piqued my interest, so yeah, I'm gonna watch it. But I do think that it's shallow. It will offer nothing of depth.
Well, I guess you'll find out.
Right. All right. The next one gonna be Ikebukuro Westgate Park.
Indeed. How'd you like it?
It's the most boring shows out of the 10. I'm gonna say it out the back.
That I can't say I agree, but I almost agree.
All right. I have no idea
Yeah,
about
it's
the
pretty
gangs. Like they supposed to be like a delinquent putting together. I have no idea. And then I found the two main characters to be Steve and boring. And then I found that the plot involved, the story involved in the first episode to be really clumsy.
You mean you didn't like the 12-year-old girl that they
I
babysat and
I
walked around the whole city with,
all
and she
right.
powered the entire plot
I,
by like whining?
I didn't like the fact that the main guy, Makoto, telling her that there's a lot
It's
of
too dangerous.
it's too dangerous. There are a lot of shop, like camouflaging. So like the police can do anything. We don't know where to find them, and the very next scene they go to that very shop. I was like, how do you know that this shop doing like trading this stuff? And then to make it worse, the girl just like, oh, you're not supposed to be here, and the girl just like randomly grab something to throw it, and then they run away. What the? It's just some shit writing in there.
I mean, I think there was a reason in the episode for them to go to that building. They have a meeting at a restaurant with some guy who talks at length about the drugs.
Right?
He's like, "Oh, it's a new compound, and if you spray it into this little package, and it turns your whole life inside out, and it's gonna fuck you up forever. Don't do drugs."
Yep.
They talk to him, and then he tells them about the building.
Yep.
So then they go there. But
Oh.
I mean, I think the worst scene was the one where they encounter the cop in the alleyway. Like, they escape from the building.
Yep. Yep.
Both of them jump over from one staircase to the other,
Uh-huh.
and it's an easy jump because a 12-year-old girl makes it.
Yep.
And so then the guy who's chasing them comes to the edge of the ladder
It's so
on
cool.
the exterior of the building, and he looks at them standing across from him, and he's like, "Damn." he runs away because apparently he can't make that jump, even though a child just did. He wasn't even particularly like fat. He could have just jumped across. So then they go down to the ground floor, and then for some reason, a cop who Makoto is like intimately familiar with and on good terms with is there waiting for them.
Yep.
Even though we haven't seen or heard about him before. And he says, "Oh, I'm never going to give you this piece of valuable information that you need."
But
And then the girl says, but I want you to." And then he does.
that's the only piece of advice I'm gonna give.
That's right. He says, "All right, I'll tell you the thing I just said I would never tell you, but it's the only thing I'm going to tell you." I mean, if I were her, I would have just kept nagging and gotten like,
You got everything out of it.
access to the police files on every single individual in Ikebukuro.
Yeah. Well, I think the writing is really bad for this one.
Yeah.
Even later when like they came to the house, and remember how they learned the combination of the lock. It's just through the fucking camera, the footage camera, and I
Somebody
don't,
the guy hacks into it, right?
yeah, I don't
the guy
know
with
who
the-
is
the
in the
piercings.
right mind, like having the combination lock and doesn't know about that camera in order to hack it. Oh god! And then later on, when like they go seeing the plant inside the house, and the guy just come back from home, and the way that the 12 years old girl trying to show that, like when someone throw the rock on you and run away, you don't chase them back.
I actually don't even remember what part you're talking about now, but that's okay.
All right,
I
yeah.
don't need to, because
You don't need
no
to.
matter what it was, I'm sure it was stupid.
It was stupid. It was oh god. I just found the whole thing boring. I just found the whole thing implausible to begin with.
Yep.
All these characters are boring, and even the animation is not that good. The production, I mean, is not that good.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. I mean, the chase scene, the car chase in the opening minutes is like they can't even properly convey like a car going over a hill, like a small hill.
Yep.
It's just like the perspective of the whole thing is just messed up, and
And
it's pretty
tell
bad.
me again about the gang, because I still have no idea about that gang. Are they supposed to be good? Are they supposed to be bad? Are they supposed to be like just a cult?
Who knows? The important thing is that there are many attractive male
Yeah.
characters
Yeah.
within the gang.
I see. So
All right, I thought this was bad, and I put it ninth.
oh really? All right, I put it 10th. I'm curious about your 10th now.
All right, so IWGP done. Probably worst anime out of these 10 that we saw. Moving on,
Yeah.
we've got Jujutsu Kaisen, a Shonen Jump adaptation.
Yeah, I think one of these best production we see so far in this season.
Yeah,
Oh,
looks that way.
I think Akudama Drive is better at animation, but this one look real gorgeous as well.
I would say that Akudama Drive looks better, and this one maybe animates better, at least in particular moments.
Alright.
Like I didn't, for example, in Jujutsu Kaisen,
It-
I didn't really like the alternative art style used for the demon dogs and the curses.
Alright, yep.
Those look. I mean, I assume the idea was to make them look otherworldly because they're not of this earth, but they just end up looking like computer assisted, and I'm not even sure that they were actually. They just look that way, and it wasn't great for me.
Right. By saying all that, I found the story. I'm not really a fan of the story. I find it alright. Not that something that really grabbed me personally.
What about the story like kind of disqualifies it for you from being, good? I guess.
Engaging.
Yeah.
I think the main character, for example, he already have like exceptional physical strength that that already make him like a special one.
Right. That's true. He was fighting that gigantic mutant evil demon spirit thing like on equal terms despite being a human being, like before he ate the finger,
Yeah,
which was kind of
yeah, that's right.
hard to accept.
Even before that, like he did many things that like even exceeds human physical strength.
Well, you're talking about the competition against the gym teacher.
Yeah, that's right.
That I thought was fine because the show balanced it with humor. There were like
yeah,
multiple instances of, I don't know if it was like kabuki influence or no, some kind of Japanese theater, where like for example, before they went outside to do the track and field competition in the club room, the student council member who comes and tries to get him ejected from the occult research club, he like there was a point where a spotlight shone on him and he turned towards the camera and said something like as an aside to the audience. And then during the track and field section, there were other bits of like Japanese theater influenced humor, which I thought was kind of interesting. I haven't seen anything like that in anime in a while, like in modern anime.
Correct. Yep.
So I thought the show was kind of cheeky, like winking at the audience while it was doing all this stuff, giving him unbelievable physical strength and all that. I thought that was okay.
Yeah, I thought everything was okay. I just like don't think that it's like one of the top show that aired in this season. It's just like in the middle range for me.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose
I think-
I would agree. I think for
Yeah,
many
I
people
think
it is
usually
in
the case.
in the top.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it usually the case with me, like the God of High School last season or the Tower of God things before that.
Right. I mean, those are both based on Korean manga, which
Not
based
this one.
on wait, what?
Not this one.
Oh yes,
alright.
yes. So those two that you just mentioned are based on Korean manga, and my experience with manhwa or whatever it's called, it's very limited, but
Right.
it's
Yeah.
been like very bad also. So
How did the God of High School ends?
very
I heard a
really
lot of-
really badly.
Yeah, I heard a lot of people whinging about that.
Yes, I mean I still think that the first episode's really cool. I still think it has like a Fooly Cooly sort of action first, logic later sort of vibe to it. But yeah, it just ended up being doo-doo in the end.
Alright.
Jujutsu Kaisen, I guess the point that I'm circling around to is that I don't think Jujutsu Kaisen is going to run that same risk. I think that
Right.
rather than just go completely off the rails, I think that the sin that it could commit is just ending up being really kind of boilerplate shonen. Because we've seen,
Yeah.
like, there have been exorcism based shonen before. We're talking Bleach,
Yep.
Blue Exorcist, Ushio and Tora. Like, there's nothing new here. I don't think. So
And even the stake is not too high in this first episode, because there's like a two member of the occultist research, and as we find out, the main character, he just met them just like a few weeks of just months ago.
excuse me. Yeah, he's only recently joined that club
Bless you.
because he just wants to kill time after school.
Yeah. So by that I mean, like, just, like, they're not as emotional, attached to these characters, and I do feel that these characters gonna be these, like, they're gonna be just one off. We're not gonna hear from them ever again. The club members.
I don't know. I don't know about that. I mean, you might be right. I actually know what the plot is going to be like for the next couple episodes.
Wow, alright, you read the manga, right?
No, I just know what the plot will be based on reading the synopsis.
Wow, alright.
Like, for example, how the setting will change, that sort of thing.
Alright.
So based on what I know about it, yeah, it's not very likely that those club members will show up again. But I wouldn't say that based on this first episode alone, you can make that judgment safely. Because if it's going to stay where it is at this high school, then they'll probably pop back up. But I mean, and they had pretty distinctive personalities as well, especially the girl. She kind of reminded me of
Yep.
the Mob Psycho UFO
yes.
Research Club girl. In fact, a lot of stuff about this episode reminded me of Mob Psycho. There were animation techniques here, like smears and blurred lines and stuff like that kind of reminded me of Mob Psycho.
That's actually a really good comparison. But if you compare that to Mob Psycho 100, I would feel that Mob Psycho 100 does it a bit better than this.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty safe to say, I think. I don't see Jujutsu Kaisen entering the Mob Psycho realm of, like, modern, non-long running shonen series.
Yep.
It's just kind of okay.
Yep. Alright, so how would you rank it?
I give it number 5.
I give it number 6.
Okay. Opposite side of the
Alright,
5-6
the
barrier.
next... Yeah, that's right. The next one gonna be Kamisama ni Natta Hi.
Yes.
Alright, I can I make a guess? I don't think you're gonna like this one.
Okay. Well, what do you think? What do you think my rank is going to be for this?
I think your rank gonna be let's see, 10 actually.
Okay, it's a fair guess, as I am not.
All right,
What?
I think that you will find the main girl to be obnoxious.
Oh, she is that. She is certainly obnoxious. I mean, even if you think that she's the cutest thing in the world, I don't think that's up for debate. She's obnoxious. Like,
All
the
right,
main
I
character
think-
is annoyed by her.
All right, I think she's charming.
Well, that's fine. It's fine to be charmed by her. I was charmed by her.
All right.
But, like, canonically, she's an irritant. The main character's friend who he's playing basketball with, as soon as she opens her mouth, he's like, who are you? I hate you. I I hate you from the moment I first laid eyes on you.
All right, I thought the humor were pretty alright in the first episodes. Like meant to be the girl meant to be really annoying, and the conversation between them, like the how they met each other, like meant to be like really contrived. But I think that the whole thing work just based on the humor and the dialogues.
I actually would not use the word contrived when talking about this series, and I find myself surprised to say that because this is an adaptation of a Jun Maeda work, and
Yep.
a lot of his stuff is just kind of cut and paste the
Yep. Yep.
same, you know, young
Rough.
girls into the same supernatural, like vaguely supernatural settings with the same nice guy main characters. This one, I didn't really feel that way. I mean, the girl is such a force of nature, and so like obviously a Jun Maeda character that it's almost refreshing. There is no beating around the bush like there is in Angel Beats, for example, about what's going on. Like, yeah, it's the world's ending in 30 days, and how can she possibly know that, and how can she be God, and all of that? But at the same time, she is who she says she is. She may not be Odin,
Yep.
but she does have these abilities, and that's established very quickly. And the main character has a healthy dose of skepticism about it, which is broken down
Yep.
over the course of the episode very logically. So I think
I feel the same.
I think that they handled. I think it was well scripted. I think this is a well scripted first episode.
Oh, interesting that you actually like it. I also like the way that they introduced the main character love interest
Oh,
crush
the
basically.
the best moment in the entire episode had to do with her. Is the
Yeah.
moment where he confesses to her. She says, "Gomen." She says, "I'm sorry"
Yep.
immediately. He sinks to his knees, and then when the camera pulls back, she's not there
Uh,
anymore.
yep.
When I saw that, I actually started laughing out loud. I thought that was really
Yeah.
funny. Like
Yeah. This is.
he is so irrelevant to her that she is just gone as soon as he starts whining.
Yep. And I remember he didn't even finish his confession. He just like stopped it midway and gone. That was my best moment of the show as well.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty funny.
Yep. And
Go ahead.
I think the name has something to do with all this, and I don't really get like the nuance behind these character names.
Oh, you mean you think the characters' names are like puns, or there's some sort of wordplay or something?
Yeah, yeah. There's some sort of wordplay. I mean, like the main girl asked for the guy's name Narukami, how he write his characters.
Yes, I do remember that. And then the girl's name, it was like she was supposed to be her enemy.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
something along the line.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's something that I don't get this time around, but I find that that everything is there for a reason.
Yep. Yeah, I mean the baseball scene's pretty clever because it's ambiguous on the fourth pitch whether the slider is going to be a ball or a strike. So he just takes at that point. I mean, it's actually really well written because
Yep.
his confusion about the slider being a strike actually indicates that he has total faith in her abilities because he
Yep.
didn't even question whether the slider would be a ball or a strike. She outlines a fifth
Yep.
pitch, which I suppose she saw in some future that ended up not existing, and he, just trusting her, assumes that the slider will be a ball. So when we learn that it's a strike, I mean, I
Yep.
figured out. Like the jig was up for me very quickly. I figured it out, but I still had to admire the craft that went into that
Yep.
scene and that joke. And
Yep, yep.
the
I feel the same because I was like there were three strike already. What is the fifth?
Right.
And then we know that that was what happened. It actually pretty good.
yeah, they also addressed the couldn't you make a lot of money with this ability question as well. Whenever you have a character who can tell the future, there's always well, why don't they just play the stock market and why don't they just blah blah blah? They already got that out of the way in episode 1. The guy doesn't want her power to be abused. He doesn't want her to be a
Yep.
money making tool. So
Yep.
that's already the show doesn't have to have that hanging over its head. That's gone. They can just focus on the
So-
characters and the mystery of her abilities from this point on.
And then we got like her statement that the work gonna end in 10 days.
30.
So that's something. Oh, sorry, 30 days. So that's something that's gonna we're gonna looking forward to see why it will why this happen,
Right.
and
Or
will
if
it
it will happen.
as well.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's the whole conceit of the show.
Yeah.
Is the world actually going to end? Why would it? Who is this girl? How can she know that? Etc. But in addition to that conceit, it's pretty fun. It's pretty funny, and the characters are they're fun to follow.
Yep. I just that's so far for the first episode. I just a bit worried about that PA was original, because usually they are how to
Start
say
strong,
it, they
finish
are
weak.
yeah, that's right, exactly.
Yeah.
So a bit I have a bit of my reservation about it, but as far as for episode go, I am really on board.
Yeah. I agree.
Oh, all right. I put it as second out of 10.
Okay, I gave it number 4.
Yay. All right, so I know your 10, so
Okay.
gonna be like. All right, next one.
You think so, huh?
No, I'm not this one. All right. Next one gonna be Majo no Tabitabi.
Yes.
The journey of Elena.
Yes, indeed.
I thought this is more like a prequel to the series that gonna come soon. So we got to the basic of Elena before she become a wandering witch, basically.
Right, because at the very end of the episode, she says, if you see something, if you see a witch flying through the sky, it's 18-year-old me. And she's
So that-
14 at the start of the
Right.
episode, and we spend a year with her.
Yep. And for that, I found that the first episode doesn't work quite well, because it burned too fast for me.
Interesting. Okay.
I still like the show. I just feel like the way that they use the first episode is not as good.
What's too fast about it?
All right, the too fast in this first there's the mentor Flanks. Is that her name? Flanks?
I just called her the Stardust Witch in my notes, but yeah, I think her name is
Alright.
Fran or something.
All right, the Stardust witch tried to test her by doing on this stuff, like basically just passive aggressive. I don't like the method at all.
Passive aggressive. Yeah, I guess you would consider it to be that, because she's trying to get Elena to break without actually breaking her.
Yeah. She tried to test her endurance, like she waiting for Elena to snap,
Right.
basically.
Yeah, and Elena's parents have paid her to do this, which is pretty nice
true.
parenting.
And then
Just talk to your
and then
daughter.
She went
like,
all out with the girl, you know. But like I was alright with that. But then afterwards, after like they like they could make the whole show out of the Stardust Witch teaching Elena, but like after that we just got like a screenshot of like everything that she learned so far, and then like the next two episode we see that Elena already grow and like even beat her mentor in a fight.
right.
So that this thing come really fast for me, and I would rather that like they don't really explore that. They just start with her like in her wandering, in her 18 years old things,
Right.
more than this.
Yeah. I see. I see what you're saying. I don't know. I don't know if I would have preferred that or not. I mean, I'm not too big on this show, so
Or
I don't have a preference one way or another, I suppose. But given that this was a prologue, I think they did a fine job. I kind of feel about this show the same way I feel about Jujutsu Kaisen. I think
alright.
they're both just fine versions of the story that they are. We haven't really seen what Majo no Tabitabi will be like on a week-to-week basis, but in terms of a prologue,
Yeah.
you probably don't want to spend more than one episode on it. And I think that the episode that they
I
dedicated to
agree
it
on that.
was, they start off with Elena. They establish her character very quickly with a brief opening monologue. Thank goodness it's actually brief and not like 5 minutes of talking and establishing the setting through just the main character beaming their voice into your brain. And then she
Yep.
goes and we get an appropriate length of time where she's frustrated, and then there's the battle where there's some catharsis there.
Yep.
And the catharsis is the important thing. So I think that's why the really brief montage of a whole year, or let's say 10 or 11 months, that's why it comes so quickly after that, is because of the cathartic moment where she, is so upset and she cries is the important
Yep.
part.
Yep. All right. So I would reckon that from episode 2 we see like the real colors of this show.
Yes.
So episode 1 is just like something that like you said, as a prologue.
Yeah. Yep. I think
Yep.
I will watch episode 2 of this because, prologue maybe not the best indicator of what it's going to be like, as you mentioned. So I think I'll give it an episode 2. But if episode 2 doesn't change my mind, I don't think I'm going to watch this.
All right. This one I'm gonna watch it till the end. This is like some of the settings that I really like. I like Elena, the main characters. I'm not sure if I like the Stardust Witch yet.
Well, she's
I,
not
I, I
going to...
found
If she shows up, it'll probably be towards the end of the core, right?
I found it so strange that she would agree to spend the whole year training Elena, and then the very next moment she said like, people in my country have been waiting for me. I have to go
Right.
now.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It just it just so weird.
Yeah, she's definitely
But
a convenience for this first episode.
so I would reckon if she go by that attitude, she actually pretend to lose in order for like, Elena, you are grown up. You can go wandering now. I have to go now.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Yeah, that may have been the case. Whether or not like she's actually passed down all of her. Yeah, I mean, if she's an adult and if she's so important that all the people in her country are waiting for her, like her magical abilities are such that they are needed on a national level. How can she have taught everything she knows to this girl in 1 year? I mean, I know Elena's like a prodigy and a brilliant student, but that
Yep.
kind of strains
Yep.
belief. But just
Uh-huh.
wipe the slate clean, check out episode 2, and see what's up.
Yeah. I still really like the settings.
Yeah, it's very
So
very pretty.
All right, I put it 5th out of 10. I think you put it 6.
I did.
Right.
We flipped this
So
and
like you
Jujutsu
said, the
Kaisen.
opposite end.
Opposite ends.
Yeah, that's true. All right. The next one gonna be Senyoku no Sigrdrifa.
Yeah.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
I'm just going to say airplane show because I don't want to try to say whatever this word is.
Good try.
And that's what this show is. It is the airplane show. There's
Yeah.
lots of air battles. Oh yeah, I have to confess. This premiere is an hour long. I only watched half. I just dipped
Yeah.
out at the halfway point. I was like this is bad.
Enough. All right. Because on the second half, it just like more fight.
Really? I
Between,
fast forwarded through it. Like I dragged and I scrolled along the progress bar and I saw the characters like having a picnic or something.
Yeah, and then afterwards, I have to fight these
Oh, of course.
these pillars, what they call.
Right. Yeah, that was what the first half of the episode was focused on. There was a pillar in like
Yep.
the North Pole or something.
Yes, something.
Yeah, like confusion about what you're talking about and then ending the sentence with something kind of sums up my reaction to this series. Like humanity is
And
fighting
then-
against an alien
yeah.
force or something, and then God shows up at the meeting of the Joint Chiefs or something, and then they fight against an alien or something,
Yep.
and then
Yep. I would say I think you make a right choice not to watch like the double length because it's little, Like in ReZero, I can see why it complete the whole story. In this one, it's just like two episodes put in together, and it just feel weird that you spend like two episodes of this one.
Yeah, I mean, it could have been a condition that the publisher had when they were selling the rights, because if this is by the guy who wrote ReZero, then obviously he has a ton of clout, so he can probably make sure that his works are adapted in a way that suits him. So he may have said, "Yeah, I really liked the 1 hour premiere ReZero that y'all did for my my isekai reincarnation show. Why don't you do that for my plane fetish show too? Give me an hour-long premiere for this one."
Or like you said, plain fetish.
Yeah.
Is that really that much of a of that love to the fight, to the plane?
I mean, kind of. This whole show is about planes, right? It's about planes and the moe girls who pilot them.
Yeah, but is there anything sexualized about that?
Well, fetishes don't. I mean, fetish is usually used in a sexual context, but it can be used outside of that.
All right. So it's just like Hayao Miyazaki.
Yes, that dude definitely has an aviation fetish. He loves planes.
Yeah,
yeah, but the thing about Miyazaki's planes is that they look good, and the method by which they are drawn and colored and animated and composited varies depending on the setting, the time of day, the weather, etc. In this show, the plane just looks like a shape with some colors in the middle of it. And it doesn't necessarily you don't necessarily get new drawings as it flies away at an angle. You might not.
How do you feel about the Claudia, the main characters, and her her struggle with I see being the only one survival every time. 99 of 90% people dead around her.
I don't know.
Or survival.
I didn't feel anything about her or anything about this show. I mean, she's the daughter of God. Is that? Oh, actually, Odin is the name of the god who shows up at the beginning. So that's the second time Odin's name has been mentioned in this anime season. She's Odin's daughter. Is that right?
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot more that you could do with a demigod like her, finding herself like constantly surviving and all the humans around her dying all the time, and her like struggling with that, or perhaps needing to go through a certain set of experiences in order to like start to feel the human deaths taking more and more of a toll on her, whereas they might not at the start because she's like a half god. There's something you could do there. Like there's something interesting there, and it doesn't materialize in this first episode. At least not the half that I watched.
All right. So when did you stop exactly?
When we whatever the natural stopping point was at the middle, I don't remember. Like they beat the tentacruel looking Pokemon squid monster, and then then there was like a debriefing, I guess. And then the girls were like, "Yeah, we're teammates now." And then I think I stopped there, wherever that was.
All right. Yep. Because afterwards, she meet like the team members, and just see like how strange, how weird all these members are, and then get fun of them. I think it's just like normal stuff.
Right. Well, there's nothing wrong with normal, but there's something wrong with like sleepy. This episode just made me sleepy.
It nothing wrong with something that make you sleepy. It helps you sleep. how is that wrong?
I suppose that I might continue to follow. I was about to try to say the name, but I'm just going to say Airplane Show. I might follow Airplane Show.
It had
just to fall asleep.
It had the short name though.
What's the name?
Sigururi.
Sigururi?
Yeah.
What is that?
It's just the short name of the show.
Okay.
I just found that on my anime list.
All right. Well, we'll go with that.
If that helps.
Sigururi, or whatever, is boring, all of the talk about magic missiles having only 3 uses and going to alert 2
Yep.
mode because there's a new crisis, all the technobabble, all the shrill voiced characters, all the vague stuff about pillars and Ragnarok, all the shitty characters, all the mediocre looking dogfight scenes. It is not good. That's my
All
opinion.
right. I put that 7 out of 10. I know where you rank it.
You sure do. Giving that a big fat 1-0.
Yep. Oh,
I thought
talking
for
about
sure you
zero
were going to
one.
love this, actually. This show was the one that made me sure that we were going to have stuff like on the opposite end of the spectrum. I thought this was going to be like the
No.
best thing ever for you.
Remember 01? One of the
From
characters
Ikebukuro
in,
Westgate Park.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. This is the inversion of that. It's 1-0.
All right. So the last show that we actually agree on
Do we?
is Taisou Zamurai. Yeah.
Oh, you mean we have the same... Okay.
Ranking.
Damn. I thought you weren't going to like this one. That's another reason why I thought, we might have opposite ideas.
I actually like this one. Like it's weird enough
Yeah.
to not knowing what comes next.
It's definitely weird.
So I actually really on board on this one.
Yeah, same.
And the main characters, he's like around our age, but he's like the way he think is it really simple minded.
Yes, he's like a lovable idiot to me.
Yeah, true. That too.
Like for
And there's
example,
a
go
lot
ahead.
of thing. Yeah, I just felt like the whole thing is so weird that like I don't even know, because at first I think Taisou Samurai is gymnastic samurai. It's about him as a gymnastic become a samurai. But like after watching this first episode, I think it's the opposite. It's like they found out about the samurai guy who will become a gymnastic. I don't even know what the synopsis, what the story gonna be after this.
Yeah, it's impossible to know. I mean, we know that he will retire not. That's what we know going forward. Like, so apparently he's going to stay a gymnast. But how he's going to do that with a busted shoulder is anyone's guess.
Yep.
I don't know. And honestly, I don't care. Like this show reminds me of Samurai Flamenco, in that it can go in literally any direction, and you just don't know what the hell is going to happen next. Like the weird South American bird that lives in their house and is always making that same reaction face, and the
freeze,
and the constant Matrix references, and the guys in the black suits and sunglasses chasing around the ninja who's secretly a fan of the main character from his gymnast days.
Yeah. It's
just so strange.
Even the grandma looks like the moment she pop up on screen. It looks just so she's so amazing. She take the whole command.
Who's this? What?
The grandma.
Oh, the grandma. Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
So basically, I just loves it.
Yeah, I thought it was a lot of fun. The moment. I mean, I don't think the show looks very good.
It looks alright. Yeah. Well,
I think there's a lot of digital work being done to create the backgrounds. I don't think those are giving the show a particular sense of place. I think what will give the show an identity in terms of its setting is the fact that it's set in 2002. So, for example, we saw the really old flip phone.
Yep.
And I mean, anime was using or I shouldn't say anime. Japanese people were using flip phones until like the early to mid 2010s.
Yeah, 2010s. Yep.
But now you only see smartphones, I think. So seeing the flip phone, I was like, whoa, this really is set in 2002. In fact, he's probably he's like a baller if he has a cell phone like that, and it's only 2 years after the turn of the millennium.
Yep.
He's living the good life.
Yeah, for us, yes, for us, like flip phone is like something of a relic. but for like Japanese people, it's still like you said, it's still popular until like until 5 6 years ago.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, something like that. So I mean, I think there are obviously seeing a flip phone is a very, and I mean it's a testament to the fact that we're all obsessed with phones that we're even mentioning this. But I'm sure there are other ways in which the show can like leverage its 2002 setting. And I mean, the Matrix references were one thing, because his little daughter, who is so cute,
Yep.
is referencing the Matrix nonstop, like out loud. She's like,
Yeah.
it was you who inspired me to love ninjas, Daddy. You've got better moves than Keanu.
Yeah, yeah, that's right.
I thought
And
that
then
I like, my heart melted a little bit when she said that. That was really cute.
yeah,
Uh,
and the guy and this guy looking like the agents.
right. Yes. There was that. There's the fact that the guy who they're chasing, we still don't know exactly
Yeah,
what his deal is, but he ends up
yeah,
living at their home, and he's always interrupting whenever the dad wants to talk to his daughter about retiring. So obviously he doesn't want him to retire, being a fan.
nah, he just doesn't have he just doesn't have like how to say, he just come at the wrong time every time.
I don't know. I think it's intentional on that character's part. I think that
All right.
because he says something to him, doesn't he, along the lines of, "I'm a fan of yours," or
Yep, yep,
yeah. So I'm sure he knows that he intends to retire. And I mean, even the daughter does. You can see when she's watching the press conference, and even before that, when she wishes
Yep.
him, says goodbye to him when he's heading out the door.
Yep.
Her smile like fades away as after he leaves. She knows,
Right.
as kids often do, they know more than you assume.
Yeah. I just don't know what the samurais what his deal is. Maybe he came from another world, or maybe
Another world. Is this is this a stealth isekai?
yeah, maybe
God.
like we have no idea who he is basically. So that like one of the interesting thing as well. Like find out about his origin, and maybe that will be the plot for coming forward.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one fact about this show that I really like, because we don't really know what comes next.
Yeah.
And I already like really enjoy all these characters. It actually pretty fun that the two last show that we watched have like the humor that like carry the whole thing.
Yeah, I actually thought of that. That thought came to my
Yeah.
mind as well. Taisou Samurai and Kamisama
Mhm.
ni Natta Hi.
Yeah.
I think they're comedies, sort of. I mean, Kamisama ni Natta Hi, I would label a comedy. I know you're more reluctant to do
Yeah.
that than I am in general. And Taisou Samurai certainly has a lot of comedic elements, although that one's definitely not safe to label a comedy because we don't know what it is. Definitely has some comedic bits. That South
Yeah.
American bird.
Still funny as heck.
Yeah, it's nice. I wish it looked better. I wish it were better.
I actually like the very first shot of like we see the perspective of the camera, like when he's circling around the gymnast thing.
Yeah.
I like the look of it. I actually like the direction of the shows.
Okay. I can't say that I share your appreciation there. I think it looks kind of cheap.
Steve,
Yeah.
a bit, yes.
Like for example, when Leo, the ninja guy, was doing all of his moves at the what do you call it? The gymnasium.
Yep.
Like way more time was spent watching characters' reactions and thoughts to what he was doing.
That his actual
Yeah.
performance.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was a really big missed opportunity. But what about the ED? Did you watch the ED?
The rap thing, right?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah. It's pretty cute.
Yeah, I was bobbing my head, man. And the weird
Alright.
Andy Warhol looking screen segments with all the different colors of the characters and their silhouettes, and It was
All
really
right.
weird. Like it was the perfect ED for this show because, like the
Yeah.
rest of it, you're not really quite sure what's going on or what. Even there were times when I was watching the show where I was like, I'm not sure if this is good. I don't know if this is good, but I'm liking
Yeah.
it.
All right. I had the feeling that this one, because they come from the same writer of Zombieland Saga.
Yeah.
So that's something that like we might take that as a reservation. I know that you don't enjoy Zombieland Saga. I enjoy the show.
Well, I definitely
So
liked the first few episodes of Zombieland Saga
yeah.
before it became
So
an idol series.
maybe it. Yeah, so maybe it this one will go on that route as well. It's interesting for the first few episodes, and then maybe it's got pale at the end.
I don't know. I think this is way weirder than Zombieland Saga. Like ZLS
Hopefully they
has
will.
the twist. The twist being that they're all dead. They're zombies.
Yep.
But then apart from that, they are musical performers performing music. That's the show. In this one, I have no idea what's going to happen next. The twist is
Yep.
the entire series is a twist. What a twist!
Yeah. The twist is we don't know what the heck is going on.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know how many more times we can
So
say
yes.
that we don't know what to expect, but
Yeah.
I'm certainly, going to keep watching, and
Me too. Me
my
too.
expectations will fall into
Alright.
place.
Yep. So we both put that one on as third
Mm-hmm.
out of the 10.
Yeah, so we have Taisou Samurai, Kamisama ni Natta Hi,
Yep.
and Akudama Drive,
Yep.
all in our
Agree.
our top fours.
That's right. That's right.
I've got
That's
Dragon
right.
Quest, and you have Adachi
And I got
Shimamura.
Adachitos. Yep.
Yeah, so we have opposite opinions on those. But
Yeah.
apart from that, we did seem to have pretty, like, those two shows obviously very different splits.
Yep.
But apart from that, we seem to have pretty similar takes on the season.
Right. Yeah. So like we actually got like 3 shows as number 4 that have the same ranking. That have the same total numbers.
Wait, really?
That is Dragon West, Jujutsu Kaisen,
Ah,
and Majo no Tabitabi.
right.
Interesting, hey?
Yeah.
And out of those, I'm pretty sure that you're not planning to watch more of the Wandering Witch.
Yeah, well, I am going to watch episode 2, at the very least.
Yep.
Because it's going to be a completely different format for the show.
And I don't think I'm gonna watch more of Dragon West.
Yeah. I wouldn't
So-
expect a lot of people to, because it's a kid show, and a lot of people
It-
in their youth they get into anime because they see anime as being like the more mature alternative to cartoons, and then when they're confronted with the continued existence of children's anime in their beloved medium, they're like, no, this is generic. But
You're
it
talking
isn't.
about me. No, I just get it. Oh, you're talking about me.
Yeah. Well, you and pretty much everyone else, like a moon gave it like a 1%
Ni-
or something. A lot of
Ni-
when people watch a
nice try,
children's
but,
series, a children's anime, they're like there's a fog in their mind, like through which they filter everything that they're seeing. Like they see it through a glass darkly. They don't.
You know, nice try, but I'm not swayed by that. I'm staying by what I
That's a
said.
subconscious thing, man. I'm certain that you are, 100%.
But Dragon West is something that like that happened dear to me. Like I basically growing up with that. So maybe I will like in the future I will give it like the whole try when I don't intend to watch it week by week.
I mean,
But
I would just recommend that
I-
you. I mean, I'm not an expert on this at all, but I would say that you can
Yep.
just go back and read the manga for like a nostalgia hit. I wouldn't say that you have to get into a long running series. Just check out the manga and be like, yeah, this good old Dragon Quest Dino Daibouken. I remember this.
Yeah, true. So yeah, Dragon West and Adachi to Shimamura is like the two shows that we differ the most.
Right. Yeah, but apart from that,
Otherwise, we have a very good list.
yeah, and then I don't know if there's any other stuff that was released that
All right, yeah.
I think we have
That's
a
the
few
thing that
minutes
I'm gonna
here.
mention before we wrap up.
Yeah.
Is there any other shows that like that you would recommend that not on our 10 shows?
Yes, there is. I'm going to pull up the seasonal chart right now because I'm not sure. I'm not confident I can remember everything. There's at least one that I can think of.
Yep.
So I'm going to scroll
Is
here.
that the one that I'm thinking?
Very, very, very doubtful. Wait, I mean, which one are you thinking of?
I'm thinking of Hypnosismic.
I actually forgot about that.
I actually think that it's so so bad it's good. It's just so crazy. It's just so shamelessly, like being itself that I would love to see more of it.
Yeah, I don't even think it's bad. I think it just is good, but it's really weird.
It is. It is.
The other one that I was thinking of was Majo de Oyasumi.
Oh, the Sleeping Princess.
Yes. I watched that
Right.
and I enjoyed it.
I watched that as well. I enjoyed it as well. I just think that because it's like I think it's based on the Fukuma manga. So I just don't think that I think that it's going to be repetitive.
Yeah, it probably will be. I doubt that the entire season will be,
Yeah.
as entertaining as the first episode was, because that's the one where they really milk the premise for laughs and such. But I did enjoy, I enjoyed it. It's certainly
the
better
other-
than Doga Kobo's other series, Ikebukuro Westgate Park, this season.
Yeah. I definitely agree on that. There's one other show that I enjoy, and I know that you give the review on the first impression on our blog. You didn't really like it.
What's that?
It is talentless Nana.
Oh, yeah.
Mono in Nana.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
I thought that the twist worked for me.
What a
So I'm
twist.
gonna watch more of it. The final twist.
Yeah, just the high school for superpowered kids. I was like, just get me out of here. I'm out.
Agreed. Yep.
I thought you were gonna mention Golden Kamui, but that is a sequel.
Golden Kamui. Yeah, Golden Kam. Yeah, that's the sequels. That doesn't really count. But Golden Kamui is like picking up. It hit as well. So for anyone who's been a fan of the first and the second season, just go watch it.
Well, yeah,
You're not gonna be disappointed.
yeah. If they've seen the first and second season, they're probably in.
They know what to expect.
Yeah, they don't need any encouragement, I guess, unless they didn't know what was happening.
Yeah.
But if that's the case, if that was the case, now you know.
Yep, that's true.
All right.
All right.
Ready to sign out?
That's gonna sum up our first impression for the 2020 phone seasons. In about few weeks, I think it's about like 3 weeks, we're gonna do like the double feature things again.
Yeah.
You want to announce the movies that we're gonna watch and review, Upa?
Sure. Yeah, we'll be getting towards the end of the year, so it's time to start watching some 2020 films. Make sure we're all boned up on the category. So we're going to be watching Ongaku and Made in Abyss, Dawn of Deep Soul.
Wow, actually the two of my most anticipated movies come out this year.
Yeah, same. I mean, for me,
So-
Ongaku is the one that I'm really looking forward to. But Made in Abyss,
Yeah.
the initial reviews have been very good, so hopefully it lives up to all that. We'll see.
Right, and we're gonna tackle the first volume of Sunny.
Yes, another
As well.
Taiyo Matsumoto manga. Or maybe I shouldn't say another
That's
because
right.
we haven't,
Yeah,
done
we
one of his
have.
works.
Yeah, that's right. All
Yeah,
right,
those are the plans. That'll be in
so
3 weeks, like you said.
Yep. So looking forward to that. For now, enjoy the podcast.
And enjoy the new season of anime.
Yeah, that's right. See you soon.
Bye-bye.